1, 2, 3, 4. What?
Yeah.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this episode The Tale of the Baseline Crossers. Hello and welcome to another episode of USL After Dark. I'm your host, Kevin. Alongside me tonight are my three co-hosts, Pistor, Mountain, and Mecca. What's going on, everybody?
Howdy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
On tonight's episode, we'll take a quick dive into last week's matches with some emphasis on the more controversial Dark Slayers versus Macro and Macro Data Refinement. We'll do our bottom three players of the week. That's my favorite, I think. And of course, we'll talk about the craziness of last week, just the whole thing, baselines, the overtime, and then how it went down. But first, how's everyone's bracket? Anybody have a McNeese State going to the next round? Pistor?
Negative.
You have a bracket, right?
What bracket?
Okay. Mecca?
No.
No. No, probably not. Pistor, I thought you
No.
made a bracket, no?
Bracket of what? Like the
I did-
fantasy thing?
Yeah, didn't you do like
Oh
a
my
work
God.
bracket?
Oh, I asked if you would tell me like who to pick. Once you told me like you just figured like I should figure it out myself. I didn't.
Oh well, okay.
I
Well,
did have
maybe next
Creighton
year.
winning, if that counts as an upset, even though it was 9-8.
I mean, yeah, that works. I didn't have Creighton. I'm pissed about that. I should have. All right, well, let's go to our last week's matches. We'll do the first ones where we had two Evo matches. Pretty rough week. Evo versus Dark Slayers. Evo K Dude. I think the scores were, I'll have it right here. K Dude 110-16. And then we also had Dark Slayers 78-24. Rough week. That's all I got to say about Evo versus those two squads. Pistor, what do you got to say about that? Two Evo games.
So for Evo versus K Dude, Evo had two good plays. First one was when Mike C came in and destroyed Sav in South Rocks. The second one was when Bowen actually 2v1 TG and his medic. That had the crowd going. But other than that, as expected, scores for both matches were, I guess, as expected. Yeah, like you mentioned, the score.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Mountain, you see anything with the two Evo games?
Same thing. Big blowout. A lot of people going 1-7, 1-8. Looks like some people did okay. I guess it's kind of a tale of two tapes on Evo, where some people are doing average, and then some people just aren't performing.
Greed, Mecca? Two Evo games?
Not anything really except for Mike C destroying Saab 1v1 in South Rocks as Ranger. That was pretty entertaining, otherwise to be expected.
Yeah, I did see a funny part in that match where Iceman just fucking runs it down straight into a street. He respawns 5 seconds later, he's dead. That was pretty funny. I think it was against Eric. But we have our next match, which was a fun one for us, for the three guys on the panel here, which was Cocaine versus Franco. I'm sure Mecca didn't have fun, or maybe he did. We'll find out in a sec. But we had Cocaine victorious here, 69-39. I was the MVP. Thank you very much, Pistor, for nominating me for that. But how'd it go down, though, for you, Pistor, in the leading department?
It was at the beginning. It was like hard to find them just because we knew they were gonna do those special util 36, 35 plays or whatnot, where they hide numbers and try to kill us that way. I know from during the week that they were SPing, they kept running the same plays over and over again. So I knew that when they were down south by like the Octagon area, that they were most likely hiding either on that rock, on the right hand side rock, or on that boot section. So that's why I like randomly like threw nades down there. But yeah, backs played horrible in this match. Not sure why, because they really needed that killing power that he's able to provide. But yeah, going 3-10 is just bad. I am curious to know who actually led either Pandy or Mecca, so hopefully Mecca could speak on that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. We'll figure it out in a sec. But Mountain, how'd you see this one? You were in the game. You went 12-5. How do you think we did? How do you think Pistor led? How do you think they played?
I mean, it was a pretty fun game to play. I think it was very close in the beginning, from what I remember, and then the end of the game kind of blew it apart. I believe Mecca was carrying pretty much with his demo there on the bottom. What I don't understand is on the first play, which they won, from my memory, why they gave up the left of Cockrock there. I think had they held Cockrock, we would have struggled to break that with the demo there, but they fell out and left, and like that's like the prime demo place to fight in. um, I heard a rumor too that everyone tried to blame Phlow at the end, which is very interesting. For losing that match. I don't know. Maybe Mecca can confirm it after or not. But I thought he played okay. I would blame Bax probably for a lot of that game. He was kind of running it down center, and I think there was one play at like Cockrock where he just pushed to the left side, and then like 5 people just streamed him out, and it was just like a cleanup after that. Um, yeah, I think they played. You guys played very well in the beginning, but it kind of fell apart. And I think it was like positional that you lost in. Some people wanted to push, some people wanted to fall. And I think Kev's Nader did play a like. I think it bothered Franco pretty badly there for a lot of the fights there. So
Yeah, Mecca definitely did his job. Like I think his RPG accuracy was at like 75%. I think he hit me like 30 times in the entire match, which was insane. But it's tough when you have like the group of guys that they do with Pandy, Sabo, Bax, all wanting to push, but just they got to be more cohesive.
I
But
was gonna
Mecca, you
say
were in.
Sabo
Oh,
is non-existent as well. He was like nowhere to be found that entire match.
yeah. It's kind of weird. We thought Sabo would be a pivotal part for them, but he only went 6-9. But Mecca, want to go over what
Wait.
happened?
Before Mecca
Okay,
goes, I
Pistor,
just
go
want to
ahead. Jesus
add
Christ.
something real quick. I didn't hear the part that Flo was actually the person to blame for, but I did hear, and I personally heard myself that when you guys are losing in SBs, he randomly like tilts or blames backs or just says like negative stuff about like backs leading. And when you have a player like that, it's not a great feeling to like, okay, you're doing your best as a leader. You're trying to put your team in better positions. But when you have a negative person saying like, hey, you should have led a different way or something like that, then it just brings the morale down. But hopefully Mecca can say if that's the truth or not.
Go ahead, Mecca. How'd you see it?
Yeah, I'll touch on everything. Pandy led. I do my normal shot calling like I do in like every squad, and try to sway the leader from doing dumb shit sometimes, and sometimes it's just inevitable. I don't think anybody blamed Flo on our team. Flo does get tilted pretty easily. Flo and backs are very similar in that, but they kind of get tilted once they start losing, and you can definitely see it in their play. I do think backs played pretty terribly. Kevin's mortars were really good because in the times that we stupidly fell from instead of holding a choke, you were able to just set up a mortar, and I think you killed Cave like 6 or 7 times with a mortar. So obviously that doesn't help. Yeah, I mean the game was like within I think 6 kills with like 11 and a half or 11 minutes ago, and then obviously we lost by 30, so we kind of just ran it down to the end, much to my chagrin. But um, yeah, it was just tough. You're right. You hit it right on the head about our squad. Like, there's no cohesive pushing. It's either push fall or too much push. There's not really. I don't know. Just two different play styles on the same team. So I think Sabo was rusty. He was on vacation for 2 weeks and literally didn't even warm up before the game. But you obviously have to play Sabo, so I don't really blame Sabo for maybe underperforming. That's a hard task to perform against a good squad when you haven't played in 2 weeks. Um, and then also I wanted to pose a question to Pistor. Did you get our plays because you were watching Ava's YouTube, where she just apparently records all her SPs and put on YouTube? I heard that rumor, and now
Pistor
she's
just said
banned
yes.
off that Discord. So
Yeah, so
maybe
you
it's
could
true.
kick her too, because that's the reason why we kicked her from our Discord.
Yeah, Bax kicked her from the Discord today. So,
Ooh,
Oof.
even though she
Breaking
paid
news.
$1,000 to buy
Unlucky.
it, crazy.
Breaking news right there.
Yeah, overall, I mean,
So,
I
so
expected you
did
guys to win.
Dax
So.
blame Eva for the loss? Or
No,
part of
Bax
it?
didn't even know. Somebody told us that you guys were listening to SBs. I didn't realize. I saw Ava in the chat sometimes, and I knew she put a couple on. I didn't realize she recorded like every one of our SBs, and I don't think it was malicious on her fault. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and talk shit about Ava the whole time. Like, I don't think she maliciously said like, "Oh, I'm gonna record, Franco SB so other people can get the, leg up on them." But obviously, that's the effect of it. So I'm not gonna blame Ava for being malicious or anything, but obviously, it definitely hurts us in the long run.
Well, I did watch like maybe like 2 SBs from what she actually posted, but
Mhm.
majority of the SBs were when you guys were actually playing through the week. So I saw them live, and I just remember like a couple of the plays like I mentioned before, like down like the Octagon area. You guys were running like every once in a while. And then like why another thing I noticed was that you guys were changing class so many times. Like
Like during the
Right.
week, you're saying?
yeah, during the week you guys change class. Like I saw Bax go in every class. I think I saw you too, Mecca. You went also every class except for medic. Why was that?
can I answer that
Yeah,
before you go?
Okay, yeah,
but
go.
I think it's because Bax doesn't know. I like Bax, but he doesn't know how to team fight, and he hides behind the buffed classes for the damage to kind of protect him from it. But because he can't team fight properly, that's kind of like the compensation for it.
I would agree. I think that's why a lot of people play support. I personally bounce around because I've played Marine for fucking 50 seasons and I get really bored and my Marine's kind of faded right now. And I was hitting RPGs, that's why I played demo. But yeah, no, you're definitely right on that. And that was a big point of emphasis this week was to, hey, we should SB with the classes that we're playing, because I think that was one of the big issues with Bax LMG is he played Nader all week and Ripper, and then he comes into a game essentially cold as LMG. I really think that I don't mind people playing random sports, but I think the majority of the time in your SBs, you should be playing the class that you're going to play Sunday, or you're going to be faded. You're going to have mishaps because you're just not used to playing it. Because playing Nader compared to LMG it's two different worlds. It's a different fucking game. So the big point of emphasis in the Discord this week was, hey, let's try to play real classes. Um, but yeah, I think you guys kind of hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just either like first or second SB, play your class, and then maybe the third one, like
Yeah,
do whatever you
yeah,
want.
yep.
Yeah, get the cohesiveness there, get the aim down, get the focus fire, and then have some fun. That's
Yep.
what I like to do too. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. So moving on, let's go to the match of the week. The most controversial thing that I think we've seen the past couple seasons, aside from maybe when my squad hit on a vision bug, but that's neither here nor there. But we had Dark Slayers versus Macro, where we had the controversial overtime where Macro took it in the end. I'll quickly go over what the controversy was, where 12 seconds were on the clock. The score was 23-21 Dark Slayers, with Manu being the first to cross back into the baselines after crossing forward, then Fausto, and then also Uni. As the clock hit 0, the score was 25-21 in favor of Dark Slayers. However, I think there was a kill involved there, and then the 3 guys crossing essentially made it 24-24. You have Eric yelling in the announcer's table saying, or the announcer booth saying, "Game over, game fucking over, game fucking over. Those kills count." And I don't know, he's going nuts. If you guys have a chance to listen to that, I'm just like, dude, just let it play out, see what's going on. But yeah, so Macro takes it in the overtime. I'll give my word after you guys give yours on how you think it went down or how you think it should have played out. But we'll have Pistor, how'd you see it? Do you agree with the ruling? Do you agree how it went down? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with the ruling. The only thing I don't agree on is that they said when they mention OT, the captains didn't disagree or agree to it, and it just happened. They kind of contradicted themselves because we had a similar issue maybe like 3 seasons ago with my squad, and I told the refs that I want to know the actual outcome before we start again, and they kept forcing us to start. I wanted to know what was going to happen, and they kept saying like, "Oh, you could appeal it at the end, you could appeal it afterwards." But they're kind of contradicting themselves right here because they're saying like, "Oh, well, we could have talked it out, we could have explained it a little bit better before going to the OT." So that's the only thing I didn't like about it. But another thing was that since Foster was involved, and typically he's the one doing these types of rulings, then Tactical and Sav were involved because of it. So I don't think they're biased like other people are saying. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Good game for both teams. They both played great.
All right, cool. Just a shout out that Rio was the MVP there. I think he had 10-3. Just want to put that out there too. But Mountain, how did you see this? How'd it go down? You agree with everything?
This game was exciting, and then it was also a disappointment for me. And I'll tell you why. Because well, the first part I want to answer is I think we found the answer to that quote there, which was "We've been friends for 20 years, and we're gonna play together." Quote. I think the quote should be changed to "It's Angelus, Albert, and Hearth. We've been friends for 20 years. The rest of you dweebs can sit on the bench while we use better players." I
Yeah,
think
that
that's
quote
what
went
it
out the door,
basically is.
right?
They benched all their CTF friends and they went with Yosh, Rio, Chompy, and I forget who the other people are. But essentially, this is pretty much like a USL team now. It's not even a CTF team anymore. So it was just pretty much two USL teams fighting each other. And the disappointment in me actually comes from the Dark Slayers team. So I thought Dark Slayers would play much better this season, and again from last week, it looks like they hit their ceiling. I don't know if it's like a leading thing or a player thing, but they're scared to push, which is one of them. There was one play when Yosh was like top left near the upside down T-shirt, and Dark Slayers had three people to the right of Plus, and I'm pretty certain they saw Yosh on the top. I'm just curious why they didn't swing people around the left side of Plus to the other side and just pinch Yosh. It was like so easy. Then they kind of just sat there for a good 10 minutes and like stared at Macro, burning the time off the clock. Very odd. Um, yeah, I think this team, I don't know if they're like scared of Foster's leading, if he's micromanaging, or people are just scared of dying. You know, people aren't getting angles, they're not taking risks. You know, you're gonna die in USL, it just happens. But if you're aggressive, it's kind of rewarded. So, kind of disappointed in Dark Slayers. I thought they'd play better this season, but honestly, they look like a lower tier squad in my opinion. Um, and on the OT thing, I think my opinion is they should have replayed it. And why I say that, I think I've kind of voiced it on the Discord. The refs messed up. Both, I don't know who the ref is. I think it was a victim or whatnot. He messed up 2 times. Um, A, he didn't spec people, and then B, he suddenly brang overtime, which no one ever heard of this rule before, where you just force people into an overtime. And I think both captains, aside from Yosh, I mean, really, most people don't even know the rules for overtime. On top of that, right? You kind of force both teams into an overtime, and then you know, it's kind of like a 50-50 there. So I think, in my opinion, it should be replayed. For that opinion, for the OT there. Also, the other thing I'm kind of curious about for Darks players is why did they go south or why did they go north on OT? Someone tell me a reason why they did that. They swung to the enemy base and they fought from the north side, which everyone knows south is king, right? Um, just weird play calling altogether from whatever's happening on their end.
Yeah, I don't know if it was victim's call. Maybe he can chime in if he wants to, or if he wants to write in the chat. I think Bowen might have overruled that. Well, maybe we'll figure that out in a sec. But Mecca, I know you have a voice and opinion on this. How do you think it went down? You agree with it?
Yeah, I have actually a few opinions on this. I think I'm pretty neutral. I've known Tier forever. I've played with Fossil a million times, and I've also played CTFDL with a bunch of the macro data guys. So I think I'm friends with everybody. I think in the end it was the right decision just because of the nuances of them crossing and how that impacted the game. It's not just as black and white as 3 cross, 3 kills. That's it. Because people are focusing those people that are cross. Those people who cross are still shooting. Stopping the push. So I understand why the appeal went. I would have been okay either way. As far as the OT goes, I think it was the right call to play an OT. I don't know about right away. I would have liked to see the appeal decision go through and then play the OT, but I also understand the OT right away because everybody was still on. So you have the same people playing, or you have your ideal lineup still playing because they're online. As far as that goes. Now, as far as actual staff goes, I'm still in the staff chat, and I could say it was pretty split about where people wanted to go between the refs and the admins and everybody else. It was almost exactly, I would say, maybe lean slightly towards the appeal decision that was made, that there should have been like an OT, or that there was some wrongdoing. But a lot of staff were agreeing that macro data should have won. So I just want to put that out there. I think it was a lot closer than people think. I don't think it was unanimous that about what happened. And then as far as the actual game goes, I want to touch on a few things. I think them not having Molo is huge. Molo is a huge shot caller, has led in this league before, has won championships in this league and SK before. So I think not having him is actually a big hit. He's one of their better Marines and is a good shot caller. Allegedly, Typhoon was drunk, yelling on Discord, so that probably didn't help DS. And then also about macro data, everybody's gonna probably rag on Chompy later in this episode for going 0-4. But if you actually watch the game, Rio and Chompy were like teamed up the whole time, and you saw Rio finish a lot of Chompy's kills. So I think he went 0-4, and that's not ideal as Ranger, and then people want to scapegoat the Ranger for the tie or bad performance. But I actually think Chompy played well. I know he's probably going to switch from Ranger now, but I don't think he played as bad as 0-4.
Yeah, I gotcha. My take on this one was 12 seconds left. Victim had no chance of specking, I don't think, anybody. Even if he gets one in there, which is maybe possible, there's no way he can spec the other guys. Being that there was 12 seconds left, I also think that they should only be awarded the 3. I know a lot of what ifs came up on the Discord, where what if they stopped shooting because they got specced, or what if this and what if that. What if there was 2 minutes left? What if there was a minute and a half left? It being 12 seconds, I think just those 3 kills should be awarded. And I do think that Darkslayers got a little screwed in that, but they shouldn't have crossed. That is their fault. They do get the loss. It's only week 2, so they're not out of anything yet. They can still come back, and maybe they just got to show up next time they play macro data and just beat them straight up. Don't make this a thing that haunts you in the past. That's just my 2 cents. So, Victim, I think you did okay. Kind of tough call. And I know you're pleading the 5th on who decided the overtime. And the overtime, I think, yeah, I agree. It's a good thing to play it. Playing it right away, yeah, it makes sense because everybody's on. If you do it on like a Monday or a Tuesday, you never know who's going to show up. So, my 2 cents on that. Anything else with that match you guys have, or any other baselines you guys think it should change or revert back maybe to last season, like when it was good?
I just want to add that last week I did call that macro was going to win.
So did I, by the way.
Pistor. Oh, good job, guys. No, it was a good game for sure. Rio did his thing. Mecca, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on the baseline. I think it was Sav that came up or had the idea. If not, I'm sorry. Of like the invisible baseline, kind of like DS, you can't cross back into it. If you're going to do baselines, just have that. So it literally stops anybody from accidentally doing it or on purpose crossing into baselines at all. You should never be able to re-enter.
Yeah,
your own at least. You can cross others, but if under 3 minutes or whatever. But nobody should ever be able to recross their own.
They should just do trenches, like No Man's Land. Just trenches all around with stairs in every direction, pretty much. Just in case that the opposite squad is base raping them. The the squad that is getting raped could shoot out, take cover with those trenches, and potentially force them to actually fall even more. Once they fall, then they could just escape.
Yeah, I think that's why they're there, so you don't get, base rapes or whatever. So that makes sense, just having unlimited stairs all the way across a trench to where if they are like staying there, you're gonna at least punish them by shooting at them. They can't shoot at you. So it is a good
Correct.
point.
And you're
Yeah.
also getting one-way vision, right? So like the opposite team
Oh
will
yeah,
know
yeah. I
where
like
you're
that too.
coming from. Exactly. So
That would be
like
good too. Yeah, they should. That would be nice actually. Yeah, hide vision all the way around. So if you can see them and they can't see you. So if everybody wants to go north, they don't see everybody going north or whatever, vice versa. That's good too. I like that. MP, maybe we can make that happen, or we'll have to test it. I think. I don't think you can set that in stone yet. That's got to be a test. I think the rules though can be changed, especially for this season. I think they could change it mid-season.
I like the old rules
Yeah,
where you
last
can
season, right?
enter the enemy baseline so you can get behind them. But
Totally
I
agreed.
think with the OT rules, or I think with the timer rules for the baselines, maybe if people are concerned about it, just drop it to like 2 minutes. That way, everyone's going to camp their baseline in the last 2 minutes if they're winning anyways. So maybe just drop the time and then drop everything.
Yeah, that's true. So you like the enemy can go into the enemy, or you can go into the enemy's rape lines whenever you want. Is that what you're saying? I think that was like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
Or are you talking about-
I think if you can go, because sometimes you need to get that angle to get south, right, or whatever. So if you need to wrap around their base and get the other like bottom angle, then that allows you to do that. But with the new rules, like I think if you saw like our game versus K-Dude, they kind of got stuck at the left side, right? I think if you had the old rules, they could have ran around the baseline and got behind us. But
Yep.
because that new rule's in the way, they're kind of like pinned into the borders.
Yeah, you see that on KS10 and EC, the left side of the map. It's a lot easier to camp now that you can't flank through baselines. Like you can just camp weed on KS10, and you can just camp left plateau on EC, and there's not really that much you can do to break it. Whereas before, when you could run through baselines, you could send a solo, you could send a team, you could do something to get that far left angle without getting stopped right at the baselines.
Yeah, KS10 is a big one. I know Sav and Company always like to go north and around and
Yep.
down to weed. If they're playing on the right side, they go, yeah, that's definitely KS10. I think needs that to where you can cross into the enemy rape lines for that reason. Get the ankle. But it's going to be an off-season thing because I don't think Bowen's changing it for the 18th time.
Next week,
So next week it'll
New
yeah,
rules.
Sunday morning, like he did last season.
Sunday morning. Hey guys, I came up with new rules. I can't wait for that. That'd be. I can see it happening actually. I don't think he's listening in. Somebody will tune
He
in
said he
on what's
was for
going
2 seconds, heard baselines mentioned, then logged off.
on. That makes sense. I'm sure he just never wants to hear it again until this Sunday. So my favorite segment of our After Dark USL podcast, bottom 3 players. I'll go first. I'll say my 3 because I don't know if Pistor has his. He always likes to look it up last second. So Pistor, go ahead, start looking it up. It's my bottom 3 players from last week, where we don't go into like the worst squad that had the worst game or anything like that. We just go based on eye test or what we think went down or how they played. It wasn't that good. They can definitely improve. So my bottom 3, my third of my bottom 3 was Caved, who went 0-8. I was last in heals, and I think died to my mortars more than I've ever seen anybody die to my mortars. My number 2, I know Mecca was talking about this before, but I'm going to put him on there because I already had him on there. But I have Chompy, 0-4 as Ranger. Just go Marine, man, or LMG. Try it out. You never know. I know you were doing good with Rio. He was maybe leeching some kills, but we like to see you get kills. And my number 1 bottom 3 player, drum roll, was Bax. 3-10. You suck, bro. What were you doing the entire match? Holy! I don't even think like every battle he's out in front just trying to get kills and he just dies like immediately. I've always said it. He's no awareness. I think you just gotta always have. If you're leading him, just have eyes on him. See where he's at. Put him in the right position. Maybe he'll do good. But yeah, that's my bottom three. Pistor, what's your bottom three?
Yeah, so we're gonna have similar players selected. I also picked Chompy. I know when he NT for us a couple of times during the week, we told him that he should be playing Marine. We told him to even NT as Marine so he could kind of like get used to it. Second one would be TG and the Medic versus Bowen, that 2v1 battle that I spoke on earlier. Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember who was his medic, either Iron or Fax, but they just like, I don't know, Bowen landed every single shot, killed TG, and then I think shotgunned the medic afterwards. So and first backs, like this was the most important match of the season for him and for us too, because he talked shit the whole week about how he was gonna beat us. He had Mecca coming back just for this match, just so he could beat us. But that didn't go as planned. Got to start looking at his mini map. Got to start just listening to Pandy. Just got to start playing smarter, I think.
You gotta practice. He doesn't even. He's 1v1ing every night. Like play some 3v3s or 4v4s, right?
They do though. Like I have seen them playing 3v3s, 5v5s till like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. some nights, which is great, but I don't know. On Sundays he just gets nervous. I think his hands are shaking. He's
Knees are weak.
sweating. Yeah,
Mom spaghetti.
of course.
All right. Mountain bottom three.
All right, my number 3 is Chompy. Not just because of those 0-4, but he's 4-9, I believe, on the season. I'm kind of wondering if Chompy. I mean, they talked about Chompy as being the NOS keeper, but right now he's looking like a huge bust. I mean, he can't even take over a middle tier game and stat pad them. So I have him at number 3 right now. Backs I have for number 2, 3 and 10. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. We already talked about that many times. And my number 1 is Iceman. He went from preseason Iceman hype to post Iceman in one match for a 2-17, which was entertaining. So
Yeah, I think Ice had like the best streams the first 5 minutes, and then after that, it was just hilarious to watch. If anybody wants a good laugh, just watch Iceman in the replay. Mecca bottom three.
Yeah, I had two similar. I had backs going 3 and 10 in the biggest match of his life. Ice 2 and 17. And actually my number one bottom three was Abyss. He played in 2 games and he went 3 and 19. I know he hasn't played in forever and he just came back, but 19 deaths in 1 week. I know it's 2 games is absolutely insane. Some people don't die 19 times on the season, and he died 19 times in 2 games. And I know he's on the lower tier squad, but that's absolutely crazy to me.
And if I can get a bottom three to players with thoughts on spec info, I think Abyss would be bottom three. Because he was saying if you're subbed in, you can't give the info that you have from in spec. But
Yeah,
that's
that
neither
was
here. Yeah,
weird.
it's a weird take. I don't agree with that. If you're subbed in, you use that
It's not
info to
spec
your
info.
advantage.
You're in
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
you're in the game. Yeah, exactly. Yes. We agree. So that's our bottom three. That's our best. My favorite little segment we do. So next week matches. We'll do this kind of quick. I think we're going pretty good, but we'll try to get this pretty fast. There are some good games next week. The first one on the docket is Evo versus Macro. Pistor, you have anything to say with Evo versus Macro?
No, I'm sure Macro will take this.
Gotcha. Good breakdown. Mountain, Evo, Macro.
yeah, I'm just gonna agree with Pistor. I think it's gonna be a stat pad.
Perfect. Mecca.
Yeah, the one thing I would note is Angel said that he is playing his actual friends this week, and not all the SKers they brought in. So I think they'll still win by quite a bit, but it'll be a little bit closer, and it'll be nice to see, an RR user and Joe and shit playing the game.
Yeah, true. This should be a game where they get in all the backups. It'll be maybe it'll make it an interesting match. We'll see. But next on this slate is Franco versus K-Dude. Can Bax come back from his 3-10? Pistor, what do you think?
I believe Franco is gonna win the first 2 battles. After that, it's all gonna be K-Dude.
The typical 5-minute leading from Bax? Or just, I guess, whoever's leading?
First play, they're gonna practice it for like 4 hours long, 4 hours straight, and then what was it that they did last season? They practiced a play for 4 hours straight, and they
Yeah.
picked the other side or something like that.
Look at the other side.
Yeah.
I think they even
Or
tried to go around to that side of the map and try to do it, but they never got there.
no, that was 2 seasons ago. Last season was the one that we were all in there helping them set up a play, and they didn't have a play 2. That was where the play 1 thing.
Oh
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
play
they
one.
did. Well, they were successful though. That play I do remember
Yeah,
now. They
it
were
worked, yeah.
successful, but then Bax was like, "Oh, we don't need a second play. We got this."
Play one for 30 minutes. Hilarious. Where are we? Mountain? Franco K-Dude?
I'm gonna call for an upset. I think Franco is gonna win this one, and I
Whoa.
think why I'm saying that is because I think K-Dude isn't gonna show their starting playoff lineup, and I think Franco will probably start their starting lineup for the playoffs, and I think if Mecca or somebody goes demo and they win the first fight, it's going to be a hard push, and depending on who Franco has on the top side, I think maybe if you run like Sabo, Pandy, Phlow, and maybe Hop or Bax on the top, I think they can hold off against this team if they're winning. It's really hard to push the right side. Are you guys left or right? I can't tell.
We're gonna be right because we lost coin flip.
Yeah, if you're winning, it's very hard to push the right or left side if you sit like right close to the base. So I think it just depends on who wins the first fight.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
in K-Dude's roster, they have basically all starters. Like they could start in any squad. The only 2 players that I see that wouldn't be starting would be Ace, that they just recently picked up, and Ron, which
Yeah,
is
just picked
like
up
big
yesterday.
timer, right?
Or
So
this
other
morning.
than that, like Mountain, who do you think it's not gonna show up? Because they still have firepower, don't they?
Yeah, maybe if Champion and Nos don't show up, then they're not as good without those 2 on there. In my
Okay.
opinion,
Yeah.
the pushing power is not as strong.
So you're saying Eric and Jeff and Ernie and
Sav.
Sav are not pushing power? Okay. Hot take? Dark take. Dark take.
Arctic.
Dark take. Mecca, how do you see this one going down? What do we have? Franco K.
Uh,
Dude.
some news that might change Mountain's opinion, not to be egotistical, but I'm not gonna be there this week, and neither will Phlow.
Told me
So I
before,
think
dude.
There goes that.
There goes that.
so.
Alright, so
Dude's
Bax
probably
leading.
gonna win
Okay.
this. Yeah, it's gonna be Bax leading probably. The one thing I would say is we did pick up Big Bird, which I know everybody thinks he sucks, but Big Bird is also very smart. He's led squads. He's almost beat Sov in a champ game on this map when he led. So I think he should play this week, and I think he should lead, and I think that'll make a difference. I still think K Dude takes this by quite a bit because it's gonna fall apart. I think without the firepower of Phlow and I think it's just gonna fall apart pretty easily unless we go super passive and campy like we should have done against you guys. I think it might end up being another 30-40 blowout once the wheels fall off.
I mean, Ox Ripper too can play a huge part here.
Yeah, he's gonna rip this week. He's a really good ripper on this map.
Yeah, he was destroying us last night. It's tough to push that wherever he is. If he's just above Mesa, below Mesa,
Mm.
tough to push. Mountain, do you want to
Yeah.
revert your pick, or are you sticking with it?
I'm gonna stick with it.
All right, Pistor, you got something?
Yeah, I wanted to add that Oct is a good ripper. The only downside to him is that he just trolls a lot.
I think in matches he gets more serious. I
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
he's more
serious
serious in matches. Yeah.
He understands that's the time to play, and everybody will get really upset if he trolls during that. So it's understandable. So let's go the next match. the match before the match of the week. If the other match wasn't involved, I think this one would be match of the week. But we have us, Cocaine versus Dark Slayers. Pistor, you're leading. How
I
do you
think
see it?
we'll take it. I don't want to talk too much on it.
You want to give out the plays that we're going to do, like backs? No?
Nah.
Okay.
We'll,
Mountain,
we'll meet you in caves.
we'll meet you in caves. Yeah, we'll be north all game. Mountain, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm certain we're gonna win this. I think I don't know if Pistor, like I know Ninja and them are not gonna show because they don't take these teams seriously. But I think if Kaga shows, and I know Shasta joined their squad too, which is a huge plus. If those two show, it'll be a pretty tough match. But I think they'll fall apart because their team's just not clicking right. You don't have people doing solo angles or anything like that. Yeah, I think they have a lot of problems with their roster right now. Even though they have a lot of people, it's just not working. So I believe we'll win it, but I think we'll win it by 30 points.
Yeah, I guess it's who shows. Shasta, I think, is technically gonna not be allowed to play unless NTs are allowed because he did switch teams. But I think they need Kaga if they want to win. But Mecca, go ahead.
Well, are you guys gonna allow NTs?
Pistor?
No comment. We'll see.
Okay, that's a tactic.
We'll see.
First he benches Shasta, now he's not gonna let him play. Crazy.
Oof! Oh man, the ultimate troll.
I agree. I think you guys are gonna win. I do think though, if Darkslayer, if you guys allow NTs and Kaga shows up, you'd have Kaga, Shasta, and if Molo shows up and Manu shows up. So like basically like if everything goes right for Darkslayers, they are a very competitive squad. If Typhoon's sober as well, and Typhoon needs to get on track on this game. I mean, the guy's played not very well this season. So if he's sober and can lock in, I think they'll give you a run for your money. I do think you guys just have a better leading and more chemistry at this point. So I think you guys will pull it out in the end. I think that's the biggest growth I've seen in your squad is being able to win those matches at the end, where in past seasons you kind of failed at the end. So it would be good to see. I obviously Ninja's not showing, but if he still shows, I think you guys should win this. As far as the actual score goes, I'm gonna give it to you guys by 17.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have us winning as well. All these matches, the first couple weeks have been close in the first 15, 20 minutes, which is understandable because nobody wants to run into anybody's ambushes, which is what a lot of teams do. Does Darkslayers run ambushes? Not necessarily, but they like to hide numbers. They'll have a team out, but I think we take this one pretty handily around that 17 to 20 area. I think we'll win. It being close, and then at the end they just run it down mid, and then we just get those extra kills. But I see us taking this one for sure. But let's go into another match.
Wait, I just want to add one more thing.
Oh, okay. Pistor, go ahead.
So I just want to give some advice to Dark Slayers.
Why'd
I
you
know
do
that Fausto leads, also Manu leads, but there are very inactive players. I personally would like to see Molo step up and actually start leading more. Like Mecca said earlier, he's a champion. He knows the maps. He knows every single map in USL, in SL. He led Surgical to like championships. So I really hope he actually, and he knows how to actually play the game and to win games too. So I hope that he actually steps up and just starts leading because that's what they need. They don't need the firepower because they have capable Marines. They have capable medics also. They just need that leadership that's gonna push them to actually get wins.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've never heard Molo lead, or actually never heard him talk.
You think
He
that's
was
gonna work though?
actually fun fact. He was my first captain when I transitioned over to skirmish.
Oh, you did the transition? Nice.
What season was that?
I have no idea, like SOE maybe, but
Had to have
yeah,
been a long time ago, yeah.
yes,
Nice.
I mean, it is the new meta though. It's big mouse reso, and
that's
like a lot
true
of the old
too.
players can't change over to it for some reason. You think
Fair
he's
point.
gonna be able to like outlead all these people after not playing for like 20 seasons?
Not at the beginning, but he has to start somewhere. If he starts SBing more, leading more during SBs, I know he's a capable captain to do so.
Yeah, I guess he just has to get on with his team in order to do that, right? So we'll see if he does
I
that.
mean, when I look at this like team, I just don't see any battle opening players aside from Kaga and Jasta.
What about
Um,
Brillheart? Brillheart's pretty good with Voss.
Yeah, he's a good law sniper.
Brill
He's
Ripper's
okay,
actually
but
pretty
are you gonna
scary
like?
in this too.
Are you gonna be like, okay, Brill, go open up the battles and stuff like that? You're not gonna think of Brillheart as a pro. I've never seen him do that against like a really good team before. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, now they also got Shasta too. He's pretty good.
That's
If you
true.
allow it to use.
If we allow him to use.
For the not this
Wink,
week,
wink.
for the next week. Yeah, next week
Oh,
probably.
for the next match. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll
We
see. We'll
we
see.
can't give anything away that. But yeah, let's go
We'll
into
see
our
if
match of
Kaga
the week.
shows up or not.
We'll see if he goes. Yeah, but match of the week, another match of the week with Macro, which is kind of interesting. First time entry for these guys. But we have Macro Refinement versus Franco. Should be interesting. Let's see who shows up. Let's see what happens. But how do you see this going down, Pistor?
Macro's gonna win. Next.
Damn. All right. Good breakdown. Mountain, go ahead.
Hold on, Mecca, are you gonna show up for this one or no?
Oh, here
No,
we go.
I'm not here at all this week.
Oh, you're not here. Okay. I'm gonna say Franco's gonna win this one too. I think they're due for a win, and I think is this game before the big game?
We have.
This one's at
Oh, this is the
10:15.
first game.
Yeah.
I think they have better players on Franco. I think Macro has really only Rio, who's like a top 10 player in my opinion, that can really like carry a match. So I think Franco has more middle tier players that can fight better than most players on that other team. So I think Franco will be trying to be aggressively fighting the other team. I think Macro at this point, their strategy is pretty clear to everyone. It's really passive. They're just going to sit back, um, when they have the lead and not openly fight. So yeah, I take Franco to win this one.
Gotcha. Mecca, match of the week.
Yeah, I think Franco. I think we're gonna win as well. I think we have to win because we're gonna want third seed. Just for playoff stuff. And I think to get third seed, it starts with us beating Macro. So I think they're really going to try this week, and hopefully, if it's Bax leading or BB or Apollo or whoever it is, they take it slow. They recognize how Macro plays, which I agree is very like passive in the chokes and everything. So they just need to have a solo run around. And I do think Octa's going to rip her, and I think Octa's going to be the game changer in this match. Oct has a really good brain for getting ripper angles, which is why I think you see some rippers fail. They have good aim, but they just don't know the angles properly. And I think Oct has those angles. He'll spam that middle choke. He'll get over the top when all eight are south. On the bottom when all eight are north. So I think Oct is going to be the game changer in here. I think Franco takes this. I think it's going to be a really close match, though. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything like that. I think we win by a battle or two.
Yeah, definitely going to be close. Match of the week. That's where we're expecting. I see it a little differently. I see Macro just outplaying, out leading Franco, right? Because they, I think, definitely outled us in that week one match. No offense, Pistor, but their game plan going into it was just like they looked into the details of where they got to play on the map, what classes they can use. I think Exodus has to show up. The Ripper, I think that was the Ripper, right? Exodus, yeah. So if he shows up, if it's not working, maybe Exodus has to change. Like it wasn't working. 5 minutes left in the game against us. We figured it out. So maybe they start switching classes. Maybe they don't run a nader, then they do a run a nader. So get those mortars that are unexpected to pop in on the mini map that can get some kills. I know Franco's medics are pretty weak at looking at those mortars. So if you want to take that into account, maybe you run a nader for 5 minutes during the match. But that Ripper, I think you got to have on that map. Hopefully, Bax steps up this week, get some more kills, more than 3. Unfortunately, he didn't meet my getting over 5 kills last week. That was kind of funny how I set that out, and he didn't do it. But yeah, I think that's our breakdown from the week. Anything you guys want to add from what you expect, or you want to go into our dark topics?
Whoever gets the first kill, like the battle kill on this, is just gonna take it. Like pushing into a Ripper on KS10 is just the biggest pain.
Yeah, we saw it last night. It's I know, like the top team's like, why aren't you guys pushing? And it's like, we fucking can't, dude. There's a Ripper. You can't move. He's just streaming everybody. It takes like what, 22 HP or something like that every shot, or 19 or something like that. No, it depends where it hits. But yeah, we can go into our new segment for USL After Dark, where we like to do our dark topics. So, Mountain, you want to go into your dark topic for this week?
What was my? I forgot about it. Can you remind me?
It was
Who's leaving?
who's leaving before roster lock? Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, who's leaving before roster lock? What do you think? What do you guys think?
I'll let someone else go first.
I got one ready if you want me to go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, mine is why does Bowen bother posting announcements if nobody reads them? Before the season, he posted about the rule changes with the baselines, and then people are surprised that they changed. I understand that it's a little annoying that they change every season, but if you're getting tagged in announcements on the USL Discord, and I realize not everybody's on there, but most people are, you think you'd at least skim them. I think he even highlighted which rules changed about baselines in like a summary. So I don't think you can blame rule changes on not knowing the rules when he clearly, and this is not the first season that's happened either, where Bowen was like, "Hey, you know, these are changing. Read these," and then nobody read them. So I mean, it's basically all our fault at this point. We're just not paying attention.
Yeah, but when it changes daily, like before the season starts, like when do you?
Yeah, well,
It's insane.
but this was
Like,
like 2 weeks before the season started. He posted an
you're right.
announcement.
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, there's so like I read him once and then he sent it again. I'm like, I gotta read this again. Like, what? Tell me what you changed.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that's valid if it wasn't just literally one section getting changed. Like 90% of the rules stay the same except that. It's not like you have to read the whole, section.
I just Sunday morning I'll reread it. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what you gotta do. Get those rules. I posted on my wall the rules, so I got it blowing up to 120 point font. Gotta make it so I can see it. Pistor, what do you think about that? You read the topics from Bowen?
Yes, I do. But I'm kind of confused into why we changed the topic. I thought the topic was
We'll get into it.
Mountain.
I think we didn't
Oh,
have any answer for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was actually very similar from what Mecca said. That was gonna be one of my dark topics. Cause on when they hosted the other podcast, Fausto mentioned when they questioned him about when Manu said fall into rape lines and he just listened and he thought like it's okay because Manu said so. He mentioned something like that there were too many rules due to certain players that kept changing the rules. So that's why Bowen had to change the rules multiple times.
Correct.
But yet he wants he wants us to follow the rules. But what about staff? He's part of staff still. So why isn't he part of creating rules, editing the rules, or even bothering to read those rules that Bowen is setting up? And he said this
You're saying
live.
that's about Fausto, you're saying?
Correct. Fossil said that.
Gotcha.
Like there's too many rules, too many rule changes that he didn't know the rules pretty much.
You think Bowen is like sending the rules out to other admins or other people involved and being like, hey, what do you guys think of this? And then
I sure would hope so.
Yeah,
you hope so,
he
right?
definitely
Like,
is.
I would hope
is
so to
Fausto getting
just
these
double
messages?
check.
Or Fausto? I need a update on that.
I know Victim's in there. He might not say he is, but him and Ernie are definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, I can see Victim getting them.
So you can blame
I know
Victim actually if you want
Yeah.
to.
It's all Victim's fault.
I don't think there's any excuses to not knowing the rules as part. Like they even mentioned it that if you're captain, you're supposed to read over all the rules and relay the information to your team. So I think that whole match with DS going into their rape lines could have been avoided. Of course, now mid battle, you're just backing in. You might not notice the rape lines are there because you're trying to dodge, you're trying to shoot back. 12 seconds left, so I completely understand that. But they said it on Manu said it right, like, oh, just fall into our rape lines. Rape lines are voided, so they didn't understand it correctly.
I gotcha. Mountain, did you have anything on that, or you want to go back into your topic?
I mean, the rule change thing started happening from last season, right? Somehow, I don't know who gave Grump powers. Like, literally never played like a match of USL, and suddenly he's changing every single rules. I was like, what the hell's going on over here?
Yeah, it was kind of wild.
That was really crazy. Never seen that happen before. Not very bright though. But yeah, he started changing like every single rule, and then just everybody became confused, and then they started posting it in announcements where no one was like tagged in, and then they started pushing out rules, and then finally like all the captains I remember added announcements, and yeah, it's just been really crazy. I think the rules should just be very simple. I do know there's certain people that are pushing for rule changes very hard to benefit them, and a good example of that is when a lot of people saw the map voting, how it was being swung a certain way by certain people. So I think having
No names.
maybe, we'll just say certain people for now.
It's after dark.
Yeah, it's after dark. Just call them out.
Not right now. At the end of the season, basically, certain people are pushing certain things and certain narratives and certain classes. You know, maybe having. I think like the captain should just decide. You have each captain putting a vote. Forget the assistant captains. One captain should vote for his team. I think that makes 6, and then the admin is the like the tiebreaker for everything, 7, if it goes there. That would like balance everything out and give everyone like fair choice in voting. You don't need every single person to vote for one thing. I think that's too much, and as you can see, a lot of manipulation happens in the background. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, the voting makes no sense. Just have the captains vote. That's what you should do. Like the captains should get with their team, be like, hey, we're gonna vote for this, so why not just have them do the vote themselves? Another thing with the map voting that you brought up, there was I think your map was voted in, and then UD was just automatically put in, I believe, when we should have done another voting round, right? Like our squad, Cocaine, doesn't want UD as part of a map. We could have easily voted that out if they did another round of voting for maps, right?
Correct. They completely ignore map 4. Bowen's answer was that, oh, since map 3 was very close between both maps, then what we'll do is we'll just select UD as map 4, which I don't think is the correct way of doing it. In addition to
Well,
that, they
What was the other one
also
in contention for that? Sorry to interrupt you.
It was
What was the
either
other map?
Mountains map or UD, and then Mountains map
Correct.
made it, and then there was no next round of voting.
Also, UD was just like, oh, because
It
it was
was
so close. So when
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there was also changes of votes, which never happen. Once you vote, it's done with, right? Similar issue when they were trying to remove sniper, I think, and they put yes or no or whatever the scenario might be, and people misunderstood that and they selected the wrong option. When when they told the admin, they like, hey, can we switch our votes? They told them no. But because they really wanted UD map to go in, they apparently made changes.
Yeah, some people were able to flip flop their vote. I think it was at least 3 people that their vote changed. Kind of wild.
Wait,
And
that's
this
real?
is the second time that we're also voting. I'm sorry, Mountain, but this is the second time that we're also voting for these maps. Maps were already selected at the beginning of the season, through the community, and then afterwards, once more squads started to join, more people started to join, they completely ignored those map selections and they wanted to revote once again. But now that they're revoting once again, they don't even want to vote for map 4.
I mean, on top of that, seeing 9 people who have never played UD before ever push really hard for UD, which is a super punishing map for new players because it's so fast paced, is just kind of mind boggling.
Yeah, that wasn't a good pick from like Angela's team. I know that other squads, other captains are persuading them, but they should also take into account like their team, how they're gonna perform, right? Because they're not gonna be able to hide in big buildings where they currently have now. It's gonna be very open, and I don't think that's gonna be beneficial for them.
Yeah, but you got to think Yosh was influential on that. If they've never played, Yosh probably said, "Hey, we should try to get UD." I mean, I don't think it was. I mean, assuming Yosh voted UD too, which I don't know for sure, but I would think that's why they voted for UD.
Oh yeah, that makes Yosh probably brought that on them. You can't really blame the Salve crew for enforcing that, saying, "Hey, you guys should vote for UD." That's definitely a Yosh thing, I think. But
Or who
we'll do our
told Yosh
last.
to pick UD though?
I mean,
What?
Yosh
That's
has liked
true.
UD though.
I
I
said who
mean,
told Yosh to pick UD though?
I think Yosh just likes the map. I think he likes
yeah,
the fast
they-
pace.
the old soft squad pick UD all the time. Yosh likes
Yeah.
that map.
But look
Yosh
at the
likes that.
map voting numbers, okay? Poll 1, 33. Poll 2, 31. Poll 3, 63.
The
Makes you
total
think, doesn't
votes.
it?
Okay.
Yeah,
Really makes you
that's
think.
crazy. They really wanted that UD, huh? So we'll circle back to Mountain's dark topic, where who do you guys think is going to leave before roster lock? I have a name, a couple names I'll throw out. I can see Phlow leaving. I think if he gets benched, which may happen, probably not this weekend since Mecca is going to be gone. And then I think K-Dude, like it depends who's showing. I know not everybody shows, but I can always see maybe Colossal leaving if stuff doesn't go his way. But you never know. Those are my two. What do you guys think? Who's leaving this before roster lock?
I think.
Iceman.
Oh yeah, Iceman.
Iceman. He'll join Apollo, maybe Franco, or just
Bax
not
hates
even
him.
show. Probably.
Bax
Yeah,
hates
he
him
does.
too much.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
so
crazy.
he's not from best friends to being hated on. Yeah, I don't think he'll join. Even with Apollo's influence and him telling him like, hey, you should pick up Iceman. They're just overall not good players to be around with. Not skill wise, but just in general. I think potentially maybe even Slob leaves K dude. Maybe to
I think
play
Slab said
with,
he's not playing.
but this is the thing. He's
So
on Monday through Saturday of not playing,
true.
but then on Sundays he doesn't show up because he's not gonna start, right?
He
But
does the
other
They
than
didn't
COD.
even
that,
play
he's
him.
always yeah.
They didn't even play him versus Evo.
That's crazy, Slob.
Maybe Slob's just a
Yeah.
cuck now. I don't know.
Damn, called out. But he's doing the Kaga where you show up every day until the match
Until
comes. Like
Sunday.
30 minutes, you gotta go to a buffet, and then you come back after that. SB, kind of crazy. Now, do you have anybody you think is gonna leave?
I think
Or
I agree with you. I think either Colossal. I don't see Eric leaving. I think they're going to pull the whole "Hey, Colossal, you'll play in the playoffs" thing, and then they'll roster lock and bench him just when the playoffs come. Because if you look at their roster, I mean, who is it? It's pretty much ATW.
Champ, you mean?
Champ joined, which is another
Champ
sign that
joined,
he's
yeah.
going to get benched in the playoffs. There's no way Eric's going to get benched because he's been with them for a long time. So I just see Jeff as the Colossal as the odd man out there. On back squad, I think Apollo will end up leaving, and why I say that is because him, Fresh, and Flash kind of have the same kind of toxic behavior where they'll bring this like toxicity to the team, cause problems inside of it, and then leave at some point. I know. Iceman is probably going to leave at some point. That's just his normal nature to blow up. But I think I can already see like Franco having like issues because of what Apollo is doing. But is it going to blow up your squad? I don't know. But I can see the change, and maybe he'll leave just before the end. And then for Dark Slayers, maybe you might have. Let's see, because Shasta joined, maybe Typhoon might leave. I don't know. Uh,
Maybe
Shasta pretty much
Uni.
could. Maybe Uni. Shasta could start definitely over most people on that team. So if they're gonna play him, someone's gonna get left out. Maybe Brilhard. I don't know. Um, but yeah, the Shasta joining is a huge impact, and Kaga too. I definitely wouldn't bench anybody for. I wouldn't bench those two if I'm going to play a big matchup because I know they can openly fight really good players. So
Yeah, I think this next week is gonna be pretty pivotal for who wants to stay, who wants to leave, because it's what after the fourth match, everybody leaves. Is that no? We're doing 12 matches, right? So it's week 5 we'll start that with the
Yeah,
roster
maybe
lock.
after week 4, like the day
Yeah,
after. I don't know what
I
they're
guess we'll
doing
see.
this
They
year.
wouldn't. They never announce it until like 30 minutes before they do it. I hate
I
that.
I think there is an actual rule about that now, though. Hold on, let me
Oh,
look.
oh
okay.
really?
I thought
Yeah, it's one of the only
it's
people that
either.
actually read it. I think there's a
I think it's halfway, but some teams are going to be more halfway than others, depending on if they played more games. Like if they have 2 games in a week. I think that's what I saw at one point. But then, what do I know? I'm just a co-captain on
No,
cocaine.
I'm looking at the rules right now. 2.7.3. The league admin will announce what
Yeah,
the date will be.
and then it'll be 20 minutes before today's the date, guys, and it's like, what the hell? What if I want to leave?
Mecca, would you leave if if you guys lose to macro?
yeah, probably.
Damn, Bax.
Damn, Bax.
Dang.
It's a pivotal week. This is the week where rosters can be shifted or shuffled. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens. Who do you
roster
think?
lock will go into effect following week 4 games.
Oh, fall. Okay. So after, not this week, the week
Oh, so
after.
they already
Gotcha.
announced it?
Yeah, there's a Bowen post and announcements.
What the hell?
You see, nobody knows. Nobody reads these. Bowen, come on.
It's
Give us
in
like
bold
a.
and players was tagged, so we don't really have an
he,
excuse.
he's got to put like a YouTube video out of just announcements. That maybe
You
we'll
should
listen
honestly.
to it. Nobody reads anymore. Everybody
Maybe all
listens.
announcements should go back to the forums. I think
Like
that's
in
Probably on the
Spectre.
better.
forums too, honestly.
Is
Oh,
it? No, I
probably
don't
is, yeah.
think.
Yeah, it probably is there. We just don't see it. We got to think of a new way. Maybe MP can do one of those crazy videos like we did with Joven.
It's a six squads playoffs, right? Like six
Yeah,
squads in the playoffs. So you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
kind of need this win, or else you're going to be fighting Dark
right.
Slayer's macro. So you guys
Right.
want evolution.
That's what I was saying earlier. This is pivotal to get the 3rd seed because we want the 3rd seed.
yeah. Third seed is huge.
Because 3 plays 6, so
You can't postpone what you're doing, Mecca, just to show up this Sunday to help him out?
no, I can't.
Damn, Bax. He
Wish
wants
I
you to
could,
lose.
but
You don't mean that. I like how today Pistor posted on what did you post on CB's post where he's in Dubai, like overseeing the ocean or something like that, and he said, "You come back and play on Infantry." Like, yeah, right. Dude's living the life, living the dream. Not gonna come back to this game.
This is the life. This is the dream.
for some, for some of us, yes. But you guys got anything else, or you think we're gonna zip it up and zip it out? I think that was a good episode. It was a little over an hour. So yeah, I think that for my co-hosts,
Well, I
Pistor
think
back.
I
Oh, not
think
back.
Havoc wanted to
No.
come
Oh,
on.
did Havoc?
I know last week we
Okay.
told him if he wanted to come. He left.
He's gone. Yep. Thanks,
He was on
Havoc.
the whole time talking shit on the on the chat, and now he left right before he was supposed to. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll end it there. So I'd like to thank my co-hosts, Pistor, Mountain Mecca, executive producer, Victim for recording, and MP for posting. I was your host, Kevin. we'll see you next week at some point. We'll announce it. But everybody have a good night. Thanks for listening in, and see you next week.
Wild, perfect style, so versatile, living on a cloud and I thunder loud, giving the crowd a ribbon around, riveting sound, moving around the perimeter now, giving them hell, I'm breaking them down. These lackluster rap busters, mass rush them, now they fast, gushing quick cash, clutching, now they have nothing, tip of the top, cream of the crop, give me the rock, I'm faking them out, I'm making the shot, awaking the crowd, making them loud, shaking the foundation, it's motivation, not complacent, I'm racing, burn rubber, turn gutter, vocal cords and words utter like a sword and warm butter, with the force of a stone cutter, check the catalog, I have it all, haters knocking on the castle door, just so laughable, see them popping up as whack-a-mole, snack your soul out your frame like the chick from Endgame.
If you want it, come and get it. We always stay ready with a mic and a machete. Write it down, spit it out, take them thoughts, get them out. Music is a weapon and homie, we hit 'em up. If you riding with us, show me and homie, just put 'em up. Cause music is a weapon and homie, we hit 'em up. If you wanna come and get it, if you wanna come and get it.
I'm in the corridor, pulling up in the crossover. I run the globe, put on the show like a Mars rover. Rocking a cold with a pair of lows like it's October. Moving the coast to the future flow like a star chauffeur. I design the flow when you not the owner. Your rock climb to the top is over, you not a soldier. I'm dropping boulders on top of shoulders. They tryna overthrow us, but first they gotta find a road to approach us. Notice, I ride slow with the forces like I'm the POTUS. Focus, and my scope is pointed at your neurosis. Rims on a Lotus, cleaner than wherever your soap is. But never take it personal, homie, it's just showbiz. When I show up, hundreds of cars roll up. Spectators and all, like what are they gonna show us? I've renovated the cars and it's obvious y'all don't know us. But stay tuned, cause we got something for y'all vultures. It's creative.
If you want it, come and get it. We always stay ready with a mic and a machete. Write it down, spit it out, take them thoughts, get them out. Music is a weapon and homie, we hit 'em up. If you riding with us, show me and homie, just put 'em up. Cause music is a weapon and homie, we hit 'em up. If you wanna come and get it, if you wanna come and get it.